Okay.
Wait, Ernie,
So
wait, before. Let's officially. Everyone, this is Ernie. He is a producer with WeTV Thailand. He produced Monster Next Door and is also producing Knockout, an upcoming BL that I am very personally excited about. Welcome, Ernie. Let's
yeah.
talk about blessing ceremonies because we're talking about Thai culture
Oh.
and BL.
Hi. I'm Ernie. I'm the producer of the two show that you just mentioned. I'm so happy to be here. We actually I've actually talked with Rola about this, like behind like the message that we send, like like because like there's so much like Thai culture aspects in BL, like especially like those like mentor mentees or like ordination and
Mm-hmm.
so many stuff in college that I would love to explain. Actually, I've done a few videos like of the breaking down of Monster Next Door that I have been talking about the culture aspect that I've put in Monster Next Door. So when Laura approached me and asked me that, oh, do you want to do like this live explaining more about the culture, Thai culture that we have seen in BL? So like I jumped in like, oh, I would love to do that. But before we go into anything, I just really want to put a disclaimer
Mm-hmm.
for everyone that so if we are going to head to the cultural road, um, the things that I would be talking about, it's going to heavily based on my like personal experience. Like like I mean, because we are going to talk about cultural aspects, like no matter what, like Thai or American, everything, every person has different experience. So I will be careful and I will try my best to talk in the general terms of representing Thai culture at best. But please keep in mind that this is drawing from my own experience, from how I'm raised, and like it's like it's me that I'm speaking representing right now. So uh if any Thai people like watch it later might have a different experience than mine, so it's actually okay, and that's it's the culture. So that's my disclaimer into the
Thank you.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
important. Mhm. Well, okay, so we have a quite an outline, right? You were
Yes. Yes.
sharing that you were at the blessing ceremony. We see these very frequently, and for me, they always make me really excited because it cues me that the show's going to start filming soon. I'm
Yeah,
always
it's
like,
the cue for international fans that oh, the series happening. It's not just like like a no show. It's like
exactly,
confirmation.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
real, it's happening, it's got the funding. So I would like, I mean, it's a good place for us to start because we had a lot of questions
Yes.
about
Yes.
Buddhism, basically, or like the way spiritual ritual or beliefs are kind of part of everyday life.
Yes.
And that includes ordination, which we've seen quite a bit in BL, but everyone's familiar with it from Tarn type. Um,
Mhm.
and so could could we start with a little bit about what the blessing ceremony is and what the purpose of it is?
Yes, sure. So, the blessing ceremony in Thai, the pronunciation is Buong Suang. The word Buong Suang is actually like the literal translation is like to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So to offer to the gods, to the goddess, and especially for the blessing ceremony, the Buong Suang for the series
Mm-hmm.
is for the Ganesha. So the Ganesha in Thai belief, like especially in Brahms as well, they believe that it's to be the god of entertainment.
Okay.
So everyone in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
if you come here in Thailand and you meet with production people, you
Mm-hmm.
meet with dancer, singer, you meet with anyone who's been in the showbiz, you will see them praying
Mm-hmm.
to Ganesha. And some of them have like Ganesha wallpaper, and every Ganesha like related days they will do like a praying and
Mm-hmm.
this kind of stuff. So Ganesha has been heavily like related to entertainment industry here in Thailand and especially in Asia. So this blessing, this buong suang, is to offer um like food and goods and fruits and like religious items,
Mm-hmm.
to offer to the god. That's basically it,
Okay.
and asking for the good omens, for the fortune, for the blessing in return. So this it's like, but the scale of it, it
Mm-hmm.
really depends on the production, like on the how big you want it to go,
Uh-huh.
and for the culture aspect, it becomes like a must that you
Mm-hmm.
have to do for every production. So whether it's going to be in film here in Thailand, whether it's going to be a series, you have to do the blessing ceremony before the production commence, or before the production, before it air. So you like it really depends on the projects.
So would it
But
be considered sort of strange or even taboo if it wasn't done?
yes,
Okay.
yes, it will be considered like, this project is not going to go
Mm-hmm.
well, like and it's yeah, it's really a taboo if like a huge like series or something didn't do this kind of ceremony. But like, back it's going back to the scale of it, it can be a really small scale, no press and everything at all, like like it's still be like a very, it can be a private like event as well.
Okay.
But in this time and day, these buong suang, this offering event, like blessing event, it's really bind with a press release.
Right.
So yeah, so we as me as a platform and the production as production would select the date, like, and would do, and we would love to invite press
Mm-hmm.
to join our blessing ceremonies. And we were gonna do a press conference, like a mini press conference, and mini, like, we release the press kit to people. We gather fans, and we do a little, have like a little bit of like fan gatherings, and
Mm-hmm.
then we do a little of interviews with the cast. So
Mm-hmm.
that's actually like combining like the tactical PR
Mm-hmm.
into a religious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out like, nowadays we do this like for a series or a movie. Yeah.
Would it be is it Ganesha? Is that what you said the god name
Yes,
is?
Ganesha.
So
Like
would it,
the elephant
yes.
looking, yeah.
Would it be uncommon to see like a shrine or a statue in a building that's entertainment based?
It's really common. I
Okay.
got one little Ganesha on my desk,
Okay.
and everyone like it. I bet you, like, if you walk into like my building
Mm-hmm.
and you look into everyone's like desk, you
Yeah.
would spot a tiny
Okay.
Ganesha cards, or like sigils,
Uh-huh.
or little like a statue, or
Mm-hmm.
dolls, or wallpapers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's everywhere if you pay like close attention.
Oh, that's good to know. Now I will pay close attention.
Yes.
But I'm also glad to be affirmed that when we see the blessing ceremony, it is in fact definitely a sign that this show is happening and moving forward. So it would be very unlikely to see that and not have the show air.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. You're correct.
cool. I'm going to make D a moderator really quick, I think.
Okay.
Hmm. I can't. Let's see. I can't figure out how to do it. Oh well. Sorry, D. Okay, so we've talked about blessing ceremonies,
Hmm.
and I think that kind of takes us. We had some like really everyday like experiences around Buddhist. I wrote this question myself. Thailand, according to my research, is like about 90% Buddhist. And
Uh-huh.
that is obviously wildly different from where I live and most, if not all, Western fans, unless they're like, immigrants in Southeast Asia. Can you, and I think the way that we tend, our filter and my filter is that it's hard for Western fans who haven't studied Buddhism sometimes to understand that Buddhism can interact with other religious aspects or gods, exactly like what you were just sharing about. because that's so different from like Judeo-Christian religions. And I'm curious about, this is something we see in BL. Like I think about the ghost character in Caged Again is like a really great example of
Yes.
shrines, or how superstitions or beliefs interact with everyday life. So I'm curious about those things, as well as just the way Buddhist practice impacts everyday life. Some other things that we see in BL are making merit is a very common occurrence. I'd love to know more about that. And I don't know what else. Oh, we see actors go like this when they are, to me, it signifies like humility or gratitude, is my interpretation. So I'd love to know kind of more about those things.
What do you mean to do this?
Okay,
After
so
like the
I've seen actors in interviews, if they're being like praised, or particularly if someone's wealth is mentioned.
oh yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about right now. Okay, okay, okay.
So there's like and I'm curious what this means, because that's not something that I'm very familiar with,
Okay, okay.
or at
So
all.
let's start with
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So of course you know this is why, right? So this is
Yes.
why. So
Yeah.
why is actually the tools where you put your hands together and then you do this to greet someone, like, and no matter how young, old, society status, anyone, you can do why whenever, whatever. And actually you can do why it's really binds to religious as well. If you see monk, you have to do why, and that show your respect, and that shows the cultural appropriation as well. And but I'll give you an example, like the situation. So if someone it's giving you a blessing, especially when it comes to a monk, that you know do a merit, and they will have like incantation, the long incantation about like, you know, I bless you that you are well, that you're gonna have a fortune and everything. So while the monk is doing the incantation, so you would do why, so you would pray and receive the blessing, right? So after the incantation is done, so not everybody, but everyone who believes that the head is like the source of like a heavenly or divine. So you would pat your own head to kind of, you know, soaked in the blessing.
Oh, okay.
Kind of, you know, like, you know, you're getting the blessing in and you want it to kind of, you know, wrapped around your divine power around here. So that would be the meaning of like, okay, when you're done listening to the incantation and when the blessing is given, you just kind of pat your head like, oh, it's like boosting your fortune, like
Okay.
yeah, something along like that. And yeah, so that's about that.
Okay.
And to answer the questions about like Buddhism and Brahms, that it's really heavily like 90% of Thai it's are in Buddhism. And but I guess this is my guess, like from my Western friends and anyone, like, you know, like, because like in America you are Christian, right? Christianity is like 90% as well, right?
Right.
So
Dominant religion for
but
sure.
now, but in this time and day, people would go more way of the atheist way, right? So for example, like they don't go to church. For me as well, like, and in young people here, they don't go to temple anymore. Like I go to temple in a very special occasion. I don't go to temple every once in a while, you know. It's very different. I think we are so different in how we execute with the religions, but in the same way how the religious is growing, and you know, it's kind of the same. So if I were to answer that whole bubbles about like Buddhism in Thailand, so you will rarely see like a young people, teens here in Thailand, know you we rarely see that they know about like Buddhism. They know about religion stuff. They know about this and that. They just observe and do it along with friends or their parents and everything. But you're not bound to, you are Buddhism. You have to pray for monk. You have to make merit. You have to, it's not a requirement to be as a Thai person. But we are so, again, like the side like of that, we are so rooted in superstition as well. We are so rooted in morality code, like morality like standards. So, and this concept, it's bound to the word karma. So karma is really, really a strong, principle that's still working for the young generation as well. It doesn't. It's a separate ideas from Buddhism, but karma. If you talk to teens and young, they will still have a really strong belief about karma. I believe so, like me too.
Okay.
So these karma tools, it's kind of get back into like a common belief that okay, if you do good karma, if you do good deeds, good things will come back to you, and you do bad karma, bad things will happen to you. So you do good to people. So that's the whole concept of things.
It would sort of be safe to say that like the overarching culture is Buddhist, just like the overarching culture. So for like in the United States, many people celebrate Christmas and Easter, but they don't do it in a religious way at all, right? It's about gathering, it's about community. Some people may go to church on those big, to use Thai phrase, like auspicious kind of like days, right? Where it's important, just like we might see some younger folks go to temple largely with older generations. That seems pretty common. Like younger people are going to make merit with their parents as almost like a sign of respect to the family system. So like the cultural influence is there in the same way as it is for us, whether or not people deeply believe or really are engaged in religious study, right? Like maybe people aren't studying with monks or studying some kind of principles of Buddhism. I took a class on Buddhism 20 years ago, and it was Theravada Buddhism, which is different from Thai Buddhism.
Yes.
So some of the things that I was familiar with that 20-year memory, keep that in mind, were like really different when I started watching BL. So that makes sense. Like the overarching culture is very Buddhist, but that doesn't mean that people are really practicing Buddhism on a regular basis. Yes. Okay, that's cool. Except people celebrate Christmas like Valentine's Day. That's my understanding of Christmas in not just Thailand, but a lot of Southeast Asia, is that it tends to be celebrated more romantically. Can you verify that for Thailand?
Me as a Thai person, I can say this out loud that we will enjoy every fucking holidays there is. So, it's the drinking time. Yeah. We'll drink. Have you seen Christmas here in Bangkok? Have you seen That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy even for me. Yeah. Like that mascot dancing the shit out of his life on a boat in a canal, holding a flamethrower and dancing. It's bizarre.
It is. It's very bizarre for us. And fun. Yeah. It looks way more fun to me. I don't know.
Yeah. And so many friends in the US and also in London like sent me that clips like, oh, this is your hometown. How's that? It's like, okay. Yes.
Yeah. We like to party.
It's so crazy. So yeah, it's a party. I would say like a joke. Like I think this is not a joke, but it's a like a kind of like a bit of joke because like there's a rules here, like a law more like in a religious holidays here in Thailand. The holidays that is religious based,
Sure.
we are banned from drinking.
Oh, okay.
There's
Okay.
not a ban from drinking, but the
It's
alcohol cannot be sold in store
okay. Okay.
on that specific days. So there's this joke going around that we put that like depress and suppression and projecting onto other holidays such as Christmas, Valentine's, and New Year.
Okay.
So
That's so
that's kind of
funny.
stupid, but it's kind of like yeah, I think that's kind of true. So yeah, we enjoy every day. Like I mean, we enjoy Chinese New Year's Day as well, and we have our own New Year's Day,
Right.
and we have so many day offs. Like I'm loving being Thai working in corporates because like we're enjoying so many day offs. Like we just related. Yeah.
It is very different from that here. We don't get days off. That's very different. Usually, yeah, we get just a few. In the United States, it's not common unless you work for the federal government. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think I get 4 days the whole year. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I can take more time,
Enough.
but the ones where I'm absolutely not allowed to work, it's about 4.
Okay.
Okay, that is very funny. It's super common in BL for Christmas to be used as like a holiday storytelling device. And I don't know, I would love to hear people in the comments, but I don't think I've seen too many that actually have thank you, thank you, Nadia. Whenever I talk to
Nature said that poor Laura, come live in France, we get many days off.
I know my European friends are like constantly horrified with the lack of vacation that Americans get. I'm like, guys, capitalism rules the world here. There's nothing. There's no encouraged rest. So yeah, Frankie's amazing. Okay, so she's giving people day off because she owns a business. It is terrible for us. It's so terrible. Don't get me started on maternity leave. So,
Even in
was
the UK, we get good amount of day off.
should we talk about ordination a little bit because people were so curious? And when I watched Tarn Type when I was very new to BL, before I really was engaged in the fandom community, and this ordination started happening, and like I said to you, my only familiarity with any study of Buddhism was Theravada Buddhism, which is really different. So I immediately went to research Thai ordination practices because I was like, what is going on with this short ordination? Because in my mind, an ordination is just when people dedicate their lives to the monkhood. So when I researched it, what I learned was that ordination is a common practice for men, particularly if they are of age where they are preparing to get married, and that it shows like great respect to one's parents to go through that ritual. So it's definitely, particularly by older generations, viewed as a very positive, pious thing to do. And that it usually lasts from like 1 to 4 weeks for the man who's going through ordination. That's my understanding, and that helped me understand what the heck was going on in the show. And I was like, oh, okay, so culturally, this is a huge thing for Thai people watching this show because it shows them that this character is very committed to his relationship, is wanting to get married, right? And so that made me enjoy the show more because I understood what was going on. So I would love to hear if I'm wrong with any of those aspects, or for you to expand on kind of ordination as a cultural practice.
You're kind of 60% correct, I think, on that. That's a good number.
Fantastic.
You did
A
a really
solid
good
D. Go
calculation.
on.
Yes, solid. Solid D. So about the ordination, like it's not a requirement for men. You're correct that it's like that it's all for the man to
Yes.
do the ordination. And it's weird that it is that it's like a month or like 2 weeks, right? So I get where you're coming from. So, but I need to lay the foundation with this first. So I think the way that it's the combination of the way of the older generation ideology of how the family function, and it's the relevancy with how strong Buddhism are you in the family, and how much of like patriarchy in your system working in the family. So it's these three things combined. So how's that working? Because like if you are from a really religious based and strict and really old way of thinking, there's a moral code that every children has to follow, which is you have to repay your parents. This is one of your question list
It
as well.
is.
Like I'm gonna answer it here.
Yeah.
So there's a moral code that if you want to be a perfect kid, you want it to be a really good, kid to your parents. The way of thinking for the home generation is like you owe them your life of like you being born because of them, right? So that how the kids gonna repay them is like you have to look after them when they're old, right? You have to basically financially, physically, and well-being and every aspects. So if you look after your parents, that's a good kid. So that is kind of a moral code that has been rooted in the Thai family, especially like in, I don't know if I'm wrong, like especially like a Chinese part of Thailand, like Chinese family of Thailand. So this is a heavily based like and rooted that if you are old, if you're old enough and you have jobs and you give your money, give your salary to your parents every month, and you look after them, you take them everywhere, and and let them be like happy old married people. And that is the pinnacle of being a good child, which
And
is
I would
really
assume,
different from
Ernie, this also relates directly to karma.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we use karma terms as a to like if you don't repay your parents, the bad karma is gonna get you or something.
Okay.
So that's kind of a moral code, but it's not a requirement. It's not working for everybody. It's not for every family. My family didn't do that. My family just like you go do you. It's okay. You don't have to go back because my parents are really enjoying doing their stuff right now. Like even though they're retirement in their retirement days. So, but I cannot representing all of the parents here in Thailand, but there will be part of that view the kids as like you have when you are old enough to be working, I think you have to come back and look after me. There will still be that kind of message, and the way of repaying, this is gonna get weird a little bit. The way of repaying, one of those factors is ordination for men.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
because like some family believe, the parents believe that if your kids do the ordination, it's going to be the highest fortune for the family. It's going to be the highest luck, blessing of all time. If the kid, the boys in the family do the ordination, ordain as a monk. So because monk in Thai societies is viewed as like a holy figure,
Right.
a holy figure. You can, if I'm ordained right now at the moment and I'm dressing like,
Hmm.
yellow, monk stuff, and I
Hmm.
walk around cities, um, people would pay respect to me
Hmm.
automatically,
Hmm.
and that's kind of heighten the morale and everything. So every parents from, from the past, or uh, family that parents that have strict into this kind of morality standards,
Hmm.
they will view the child that, oh, you got to repay me and you got to ordain, because like that's the highest thing that you can do for a man.
Hmm.
So there will be a man who truly believe that as well. So they ordain for the
Hmm.
family, for not, and also for themselves as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that would be short, 2 weeks, 4 weeks
Yeah.
maximum. So that's how it came to be that short, because after that you get that holy blessing, you once a monk,
Hmm.
and you get out of the temple and you just work your normal life,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Hmm.
And some parents didn't expect the children to do that at all, like for
Hmm.
mine,
Hmm.
as an example.
Hmm.
And when we grow as society for Thais, uh we got modernized, right? So this idea is dying out.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't see like parents forcing their child or pressure them to do the ordination anymore. So that's the whole like aspect, like behind the ordinations. But there will always be a kid or someone or young adults who have an intention, the willingness to ordain, because it's a good thing to do for their life, for asking for blessing, and they think about themselves, not has been like pressuring from, pressure from parents or anything. So that's for the ordination. And yeah,
There's a
so
question in the comments
but
if there's an equivalent for women.
no,
Uh-huh.
it's that's why I say patriarchy
Hierarchy.
here, because
Hmm.
like it's really based for men. There is an ordination for women,
Hmm.
but there's no moral code that every woman here in Thailand has to do that
So
yet.
there isn't like the same, there's no attachment to like a heavy cultural expectation or meaning behind women who choose to go through some sort of ordination type
No,
process.
no,
So does that mean
no.
that there is a very heavy expectation on men to care for family more so than women?
Yes,
Okay. 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 So would women,
yes.
if there was just two daughters, for example, in a family,
Mhm.
would they still face the same expectation to take care of their parents?
No.
Okay.
That, in the modern world, I don't know. I'm not sure, but in the past, what I've experienced, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's heavily based on like if you have like a male child,
Yeah.
the pressure of taking care of the family, it's gonna be upon your shoulder.
And there's still a dowry culture in Thailand, right? So is that part of this? Is that families would receive a dowry when people get married?
Yes, this
Okay.
series a downgrade, right? The money that the male part, like the groom have to give to the bride's like parents,
Yeah.
as like for the engagement. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
that makes sense to me in relationship to the cultural expectations of men caring for the elderly. Essentially, is that if the expectation isn't there for a woman, it falls to her husband
yes.
to care for her parents. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But there's been like calls for like, because like this world has been modernized, like
Mhm.
it's been, so these are very, like patriarchy
Yes.
system, and it's really formulaic for me.
Hmm.
So like in this time and day, there will be like a call, like like not a marching on the street, but like a
Hmm.
call for like attention that, oh, maybe we should get rid of this because it's not equal. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So there, the modern world, the younger kids are
Hmm.
not like bound to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it might be that young people would also be pushing back against some of those older expectations, just like young people do all over the world.
Yes.
Like this is,
Yes.
generations change culture and things shift. And so one of the things that might be pushed back on, because it is more rooted in like a patriarchal social structure, and also it's very heteronormative, right?
Yes.
It assumes men and women getting married, right? That youth would be pushing back against that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In the same way that youth here are pushing back against those similar structures. The structures might
Yeah.
exist in a different shape, but they're the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So Lily's asking, is dowry handled in queer relationships? I'm very curious to see for Thai people, to see how that happens now that Thai people are getting married, right? That Thai queer people are getting married.
We're still not sure how it's going to go, because this is the first year that we can actually do that.
It's the
How
first
is it gonna
week.
go? I don't know. You tell me. It's gonna be done? I don't know. I'm sure this is all confusion that we are having among the gays, because like, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
And are we doing that, or are we not doing that? Like, I don't know. This is the first year.
I
So
had a
let's see.
follower of
Maybe-
mine send me an article about two women getting married, and one of them, the pictures showed one gifting a dowry to her bride's parents. So that was really interesting. I was like, wow. So I'll send that to you. It was interesting because I felt curious about what we would see, and I would imagine, and I would assume you agree with me, is that we're going to see some queer people doing that and some being like, nah, that's not for us. It's just in the same way that there's diversity amongst all people. Not all queer people are the same. They all come from different families. Like, it might really behoove or like benefit them to go along with some of those cultural expectations and standards and have the love and support of their parents as a result, So I think it'll be really interesting and likely shift as years come,
Yeah, we have to see.
Yeah. Okay, can we talk a little bit? You mentioned superstition. And that Thai culture is quite superstitious, which is an observation I would take away from BL. I wrote to you in my outline that ghosts are a big thing, and they often come into play in shows where there are any horror elements. There's often like ghosts. There is often ritual to appease the anger or wrath of ghosts, like providing offerings or showing respect in order to not like provoke a spirit. And that it seems like there is sort of I would imagine it's exaggerated, but there is like a really intense, often used as a comedic element in BL, like fear of ghosts. And I told you that I am totally scared of ghosts. They freak me out. And I was really into them though as a kid, and I knew all about the local ghost stories and hauntings in my state. So I'm curious to hear more about that, because it shows up very frequently in BL series.
Okay, let me tell you, first thing first is like a horror movie that is based in purely a ghost-like story is the #1 export movie in Thailand. So Thai is actually known for making a really good horror. If you look into like a previous years, like 10 years in records, like, Shutter, like Shutter.
Yeah.
That is really prominent, like looking like horror for us. And I think like the horror, it's Thai horror is very scary. Like, very, very, very scary. Even for me, I love horror. I live like my life for horror. Yeah. But I'm not gonna tell you because I'm gonna scare you off. But I found a reason that Thai horror is kind of scary. And like the ghost in Thai story is like, Oh hell no, because like from the Western world of
Mm-hmm.
horror, there's so much logic going on. Like, like, okay, if I'm a ghost, if I were to hunt you,
Mm-hmm.
or like, I want to kill you, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta have specific reason that I have to do that. Like,
Right.
is that maybe it's because like
Yes.
you trespassing into my home,
Mm-hmm.
you once kidnapped my daughter from like afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do something to me
Right.
ghost first, and then I will kill you, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be at least some sense of logical thinking behind the haunting stuff.
Yeah.
But if you watch a Thai horror,
Yeah.
there's no sensical shit that would reasons what the ghost should do or should not do.
They're just
It's
bad
just full
news.
of rage and
Mm-hmm.
vengeance
Mm-hmm.
and pure hatred
Mm-hmm.
towards the living. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that like illogical sense that you would not understand like what the hell is this happening is super entertaining and
Mm.
ghostly and horror for me and
Yeah.
for the horror fans for
Yeah.
Thai. So that plays a really important role that in a mainstream media as well. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like uh so if you've seen like a BLs that
Mm-hmm.
has portrayed superstition, especially like ghost,
Mm-hmm.
if you are watching a rom-com category, so of course you're gonna have like cartoonishly a characters like cartoonishly fear for the ghost
Mm-hmm.
because it's that scary and people in the series would understand like how scary it is. In Monster Next Door, if you remember, like Juan is the character that is really scared of ghosts.
Yep.
So actually, my friends,
Mm-hmm.
my living friends,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that level of scaredy. Like
Yeah.
so it's really common for me to do, uh, for you to see rom-com bits of the ghost,
Yep.
and you see many BLs with ghost elements in that as well.
Yeah.
Like, not just only in Thailand, from Taiwan as well, like Married in My Dead Body.
Mm-hmm.
From Thailand, it's Om Poet Story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's it called in English, like the terms, like that Om with someone, Singto, I think, that like 7 years ago, I think.
Someone in the
Yeah.
comments is much more likely to know than me.
Yeah. If you know, let me know. Like with Singto,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he's coming to me. M said to me, he's coming to me. The series really old. Yeah, so it's a story about like the dead and the living,
Yeah.
and so it's I think like ghost is heavily binds in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
and also that the superstition as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. My children and husband together have this whole story of a ghost that lives in our house that they created, and I hate when they talk about it. Just saying. I'm like one, okay? Um, okay, so there's a lot of people in the comments wondering about Thai horror and having recommendations. I am not a horror person, but I will say, and you and I have talked a little bit about this, is that as we're seeing the BL kind of genre open up and really expand in terms of the types of stories that are being told, we are seeing more horror, right? And so there are a couple shows on the horizon that are highly anticipated because they're more horror themed. And we've seen a few kind of thrillers, and WeTV has oh my god, I can't remember what it's called, Ernie. The one with Smart and Boom coming out. That seems very much
Top
like
form.
Top Form.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very sort of thriller. It's not like a standard BL offering like we might expect. And so I think it's interesting that the horror elements seem to be pulled in more often. And very exciting. Like I'll watch a show that has scary elements, but a movie that's billed as horror is too much. My husband will not stop talking about Nosferatu, and I'm like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And my brother-in-law is like a collector of horror films. He has a massive library, and is a huge fan, and wrote and produced his own horror film. So like it's in my family. He did. But it isn't. I went through my stage of 80s horror flicks and I loved Halloween is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably for a solid year after I watched The Exorcist, I flipped on lights really fast in bedrooms because I would just see Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
So no thanks. I'm good.
Your horrors, yeah, your Western horror is too logical for me. So I would,
Yeah.
but I watch a lot of horrors in because like my favorite horror director is like M. Night Shyamalan,
Huh.
and his work is really really good.
Mhm.
I love Insidious series,
Mhm.
and I love Conjuring series. Like
Uh-huh.
that's like in my heart. But I don't know if the fans here like in the comments like knows like any Thai films, that are Thai horror films, and I would recommend if you guys have time.
Mhm.
Shutter, it's the number one is really really good. La Da Land, it's about like a house in a village that's really haunted, and my favorite third one is Alone. So Alone, it's about the twins that one twin is dead,
Why are
and
twin
it's
stories
like
so scary? They just are.
not just not typical twins.
Mhm.
Like there are Siamese twins, so they have like a joint
Yeah.
belly. So one is
One
dead.
is like, oh no, oh that sounds very scary.
That shit is really really good. I'd recommend it. I'd scared like for a year, like, but I love that so good. It's really good. So that would be my recommendation for. What
Okay.
what was our question again? I don't know. Like, how are we talking about horror? But
Well,
I'm glad.
so if that no, that's great because you were talking about ghosts. So my follow up would be, so what is common Thai practice to protect? Like, what do people do in terms of superstitious action? The things that we've seen. I'm going just because it's the most recent. I'm going back to the shrine under the tree in Caged Again, which is is an action to me that's like to honor or appease a ghost. And I love that character. She's so funny. But because she's more mischievous, right? Than harmful. So I'm curious, like, in terms of everyday impact on culture, do people like have their house blessed when they move in, or how do like shrines to gods or ghosts to appease them, is that a common practice? Things like that.
Okay. Before I answer the question, my side of comments like Nature and M said that if I get horror in my algorithm, I will cry, Ernie. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not regretting anything.
You could just
So
use
yeah,
the not interested button on TikTok, guys. Use it.
so instead of like answering a question, I will show you.
Okay.
I'll do a little bit of house tour. This is my apartment, by the way.
Okay.
So oh shit. How can I do this? Okay, I'm gonna hold my phone like this. So this is I have a little shrine in my house. Here.
Oh yeah.
So I have this over my cabinet.
Uh-huh.
So this is a kind of acts like a little shrine that you see in Cage Again.
Yeah.
That if please ignore those like
No, they're awesome.
those Japanese doll, like it's for something else. But I have these little shrines or like a Buddhist, like a mini Buddhist statue. If I want to get like blessed before I go on to a big day. So I would stand here and I pray to to the gods and like, okay, please bless me for this day. Whenever I have like a really really big meeting, really really like just this morning I have to attend the blessing ceremony.
Right.
So like I stop for 5 seconds, like, okay, asking for blessing protection, and if I have to go to a long flight, overseas abroad, and I'm afraid of like accident or anything, so I would pray to my little shrine here. So that it's a one way to do about superstition about ghosts here. And also also you gotta see the amulets, right? So Thai like Buddhism amulets. That's like kind of a like a mobile or portable,
Hmm.
shrines
Right.
that goes with you.
Yeah.
So it's the same principle. Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that because it's actually, I think, very common for people in Western culture to wear amulets that are religious, that they, even if they don't particularly believe in the religion. So Saint Christopher is the patron saint of travelers from Catholicism, and people wear Saint Christopher or hang Saint Christopher in their vehicle to protect them, right? It's a common amulet that people wear, or that's gifted from somebody's parents, even if they're not Catholic. So it's a, I think it's like kind of just one of those things where people
Yeah, yeah. We we,
um,
we, we got we got exact same thing like with the amulets, with like the sigils, or the paper, the holy papers, everyone. And someone asked me in the comments like the gold ones. Yes, the gold ones. Like
mhm,
if the golden amulets.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah. So we have a comment, which is what I was going to ask about the cultural significance of incense.
yeah.
And I also want to know, because I love incense, is it always smelling the same? Is there like
Yes.
one type, and what is the type?
I don't know what is the type. I don't know what's it called, but it always the same throughout the whole
Okay.
country.
Okay.
It's the same smell,
Okay.
that scent, and it's really distinct smell. Like you can tell from like 5 feet that someone is have lit, like lit the scent.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I'm not sure what it's made of,
Okay. I'll
but
try to find
it's
out.
the same. But it's really tangy. It's really. I will try to describe to you
Okay.
using my little vocabulary as much as possible. Like it's very tangy. Like it's hitting your nose,
Yeah.
and it's very like sage like kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Okay.
And I like it
Hmm.
to personally, you
Hmm.
know. And we use scents everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so curious what it is. So same smell. So what's the significance of offering it when you go to temple or on your shrine?
So it's a medium to
Oh.
communicate with the gods. So if you want a blessing, if you want to say something to the gods, if you want to say something to the shrine, or if you want to say something to the lost ones, you would light up the
Hmm.
incense,
Hmm.
sometime with the candles, and the and you do your incantation or do your blessing, asking for like maybe doing the merits and everything. So during that burning time
Hmm.
is the communication time for you.
Thank you. I did. That is brand new information for me. I'm very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. And that's for the incense, right?
Hmm.
So we actually have water as well. Water here in Thailand is the medium,
Hmm.
and you wouldn't see this in BL because it's so like deep.
Hmm.
But every Thai people knows, and there's something that when we go to temple and we ask the monk to do the blessing, and one section of that is to communicate with the loved one that has been passed,
Hmm.
that has been dead, our family and everything.
Hmm.
So they will do that. Okay, I'm giving the offering to you, the long lost one, the loved one from in our family. And the way that we are giving the offering, for example, like I'm offering like some kind of savories or fruits or anything.
Yep.
The medium is not incense. Sometimes we use water to
Yes.
pour onto the earth, and then there's an incantation again. So there's the two things, like main things, incense and water.
And we actually have seen this in BL, or and also sometimes because all of us follow approximately a million actors, is that we've seen also people, it's a common practice for people to very much share pictures and videos when a loved one dies, the funeral ceremonies, which is not common here. It is very strange and different from what we do. Like, I can't imagine someone having a family picture in front of a coffin. That would just never happen. And so that's a really big difference. But because of that, I've seen kind of water bowls, or there's a common practice where it's like certain people are all touching the bowl together. Yeah. And so, and the only BL I can recall seeing that is my stand-in, which had a lot of funeral stuff, and there was some water offerings that were there. So it's really cool and interesting, Ernie, to know that it's a conduit. That's a great word.
Yes.
Yeah. The comments are one person. Frankie's laughing at me because I said approximately 1 million. One person pouring the water, but everyone is connected, right? As like
touching.
Communal. They're all touching, right?
Yes. Bluetooth. Yeah.
It's not Bluetooth, it's Ethernet, because I have to be
Ethernet. Yes, not Bluetooth. I was wrong. Oh, you're going to hell. But yes, Ethernet, not Bluetooth.
It's like static. Oh, man. Okay. We've talked a lot about this.
Someone asked me that, Ernie, did you get ordained? No, I didn't get ordained because my parents didn't force me to do it, and I don't plan to do it because I'm not that religious enough to do it, but I'm not against Buddhism. I have my shrine, I have my everything, but I'm not heavily, practicing that. And also, is the start to the name as Amen, or is it? Yeah, it's the same thing as Amen.
Like, it's like the signifying the gratitude or the end of the prayer.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Can we move on to Thai culture in university? Because this is another gigantic topic, right? And there's so much to talk about. I know that you did study engineering, right?
Yes. Yeah. You know that.
That's very fun and amusing for us. But let's just sort of start with the freshman rituals. There are a lot of mentorship relationships. So the mentorship is one thing, uniforms and the earning or gifting of the jacket, the song with the chicken arms. We all want to know about the song. And the buddies and gifting. Gifting seems a huge part of Thai culture, but I would love to hear both your experience and general cultural observations about university life.
Okay. Someone said the hair and the face painting as well. So I'm gonna wrap up to you everything. But firstly, I'm gonna talk about something that, since we are in the BL community, and I'm a fucking producer of doing gay shit, so I'm gonna tell you a story that would get you giddy and would get like you're kicking your feet about the story. So
great.
I was in engineering schools for many years, and engineering schools, the reasoning by why Thai BL has been based in engineering school is because the first thing is very macho to think about. Like it's a group of like boys, together, and especially in engineering, like the percentage of woman to man is like 20% to 80%. So it's kind of a dream scenarios for a boy to falling in love with each other, right? So it's really easy for you to write that. So the fan fiction, it comes because of that. And then that's why so many stories has been based from engineering schools. And I attend the school, and you have to know that I'm gay from the very beginning. And
Pick that up.
gay and BL for me back then is very far to be exact, because like I would love to talk about this in a deeper level, but I'm gonna simplify that. So BL is a very like an ideology kind of concept, right? So if you watch Thai BLs, you wouldn't see people coming out. You wouldn't see people like it's rarely to see people coming out to your friends, to your family, and everything. You wouldn't see any society suppression, or you wouldn't see any like coming out of age kind of issue. You wouldn't see like people fighting with their moms about like, oh, I'm gay, and I would you reject me or something. You wouldn't see that in Thai BL at all. So it's like kind of ideology world that if I'm staring as like a lead in BL and I used to that woman, and today I decided, oh, I'm gonna hit on that boy because he's cute. Nobody would bat an eye, right? My friend group would be like, go for it, Ernie, or something like that. So that it's kind of ideology.
Yeah.
And that it's view in the gay community in Thailand that maybe it's not true.
Yeah.
Because it's technically not true from my understanding like back then. So that was me going into engineering schools, that all of the fan fiction, all of the novel, and all of the shit that I have been reading as my daydreaming is just a fan fiction, right?
Yeah,
so I was in
unrealistic,
schools.
basically.
Yeah, I was in a
school
school.
lived.
And I have some, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And there's a few gay people in the faculties. Like, there's not much of gay people. And then but I'm good with everybody. So my major, like the major group of friends is straight people. I hang out with a lot of straight guys, and I have a lot of straight friends. Up until today, we still keep in touch. So I would hang out with them. We are best friends, right? So there's one guy in my group that is like really Casanova. Like, he's hitting everyone.
Yeah.
And in the freshman year, I remember like really strongly that he asked me to be a wingman, to go to the another faculty to hit on a girl, like to buy a fucking ice cream or something. So I was like, okay, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
I'm gay anyway. I'll help you. You know. So I was a fucking wingman for him. I was like, okay, and then I was like, okay, good. He didn't get a girl, but it was worth trying. And then we are best friends since then. Like, it's like 6 of us, one of them. And then this fucking guy continues to be my best friend for the sophomore year. And that sophomore year, we didn't do the same major. Like, we are in different like departments. So the major of like we get less time like spending with each other, but after class we still hang out, go to bars and everything. Like it's okay, right? So I was doing my gay shit, he was doing his like chemistry shit. So I was like, okay. And then the third year, like the junior year, I was reading at the library, and my friends, another group of friends from the chemistry department, walked in. I was like, have you heard the news? I was like, what news? I was like, your friend is like with someone. I was like, I didn't know. So I was like, who's that? It's complicated. I was like, okay, tell me. And then it's just kind of like me in the epiphany of like seeing my best friend walked into the library with a really, really, really handsome guy. I was like, oh, what are you talking about? Is this thing going on? I was like, no, and I was like, I get offensive. I get defensive because like, no, he's straight. He's like, he's my friend. He's straight. Like, he wouldn't. Wait, this is real? No, I don't believe you or something. And then I just like observing how it goes. So that 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 our that messenger that tell me the news, like, okay, I will let you see for yourself. And it's like, and I start to do the observation. Detective Ernie is working again. I was like, oh, they're really, this is not platonic in any shape or form. They very handsy in a way. And then it's officially that they are dating, like in front of me, like, it's like, I was like, oh, I feel betrayed in certain level that time. I feel like, why didn't you tell me that you're gay or you're bi or you're something?
Yeah.
And this is a really true story, and that kind of changed my perspective of how sexuality and gender works, like in that way, because like I was that gay person that thing that my best friend wouldn't never date a guy, and he actually did. Like in front of me, doing it, like boyfriends. Like they call each other boyfriend. And I didn't even have boyfriend that back then. So I was like, this is another level of betraying. So it's like, it's just like the scene in BL happening right in front of my eyes. And that's when I realized that, oh, I have a very like narrow-minded about this. So I talked to my friends like, oh, it's okay, you can tell me, and they're so cute, for me, like, it's so cute. I was shipping them so hard, even they're boyfriends, we hanging out, and it's like, okay, and that's a really good story for me. So that it's when I learned that, oh shit, it's not just fantasy anymore. Like, I mean, it happened like with me. So yeah, it's really, really good. Unfortunately, they break up, and one of them have family right now. So yeah.
I mean, not very often do we meet someone we stay with when we're 20. It doesn't happen that isn't very common. It happens in BL, but it's interesting too, because like you're sharing your lived personal experience with how queerness emerges, right? Or the assumptions that we have. And I think also it's like the college setting is so appropriate for telling those stories, because it is such a time of like emerging, of coming into your own as an adult, of being able to explore who you are separately from some of the family expectations that are placed on you because you're away from your family. Even if you go home at night, right? There's like, it's different. And so that's a very sweet story. I love that. And I like how it opened your eyes to how queer people can be. And it is you were very much the best friend in that BL drama.
Yeah. I was like, I'm furious. I was not mad at him to not like tell me, because he has his reason. But I was mad because, like, this is such a betrayal from me. Like, how dare you have a boyfriend before me? And I'm an openly gay person. Like, it's like, it's really good. So, but that's a really fun story. I would love to tell everybody. But get back to your questions, right? I would love to answer about the mentor-mentee kind of stuff, because, like, I think, like, Perfect 10-Liner has been airing right now at the moment. And in WeTV, if you have VIP, just go watch like Perfect 10-Liner. Forspoke is really good. Person that is really, really good. And it's all about like the mentor and mentee in a faculty, like in the college, right? So if you watch the series, not just like the Perfect 10-Liners, the college like best series, you would like familiar with this concept. So it's actually a really good system that I really love. That so your mentor is your 1 year like senior, like, if I'm a freshman, your sophomore, someone from sophomore will be your mentor. So how it is selected, it really depends on the faculty, on the university and everything. Some university they will match up with the student ID. So for example, my student ID ends with 92, and your student ID also end with 92. So we are in the trees together.
Okay. Yeah,
something like that. So sometimes it works like that. Sometimes it's complete random, like all luck. You just you just lucky draw your mentor, something like that. So it really depends on the university
And it would
how
be
it goes.
specific to your faculty generally, though. So, like, if you're in the faculty of engineering, but you're in chemical engineering, would you also have a chemical engineering mentor? Or would it just be the whole school of engineering?
This is this is also it also depends on how the faculty works. I have two mentors.
Mm.
My general
Hmm.
faculty mentors
Hmm.
and my department's like
Okay.
mentors as well. So I have two mentors, but sometimes just only one. So like it really depends on university.
Okay.
Someone asked like, mentor mentee means you are never left to your own device and you can rely on someone to help you. Yes, this is exactly what it is. Because like you're so new, right? You're a freshman. You don't have friends. You
Right.
don't know how adult works, right?
Yeah.
You don't know how to do adult things.
Yeah.
And it's so good to have someone who is just 1 year older than you, but knows more than you 1 year to tell you how to live your life in this fucking campus.
Yeah.
And it's a really good system for me.
Mhm.
And my mentor helped me a lot, you know. And the main thing is to help academically. So the mentor will pass on the books that has full of like notes and everything, the cheats, the academic cheats, the reports, the test and everything. Though I got like this much for every subject, everything.
Wow.
My apartment was full of like cheats and everything that have been passed on not only just one generation, but tens of generations that have been collecting this kind of cheats for us. For just me, a person who doesn't know shit about faculties. So that would be like a really academically helping for the new like freshmen a lot. Yes.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so there was a question that I think is really important culturally. Melissa asked, is it all based on positive mentorship or is there a hazing culture, which is very real in American or Western university system? Hazing is a huge problem. So we're wondering if hazing exists or if there seems to be playful things that happen, but obviously I've never seen negative hazing in a Thai BL.
What does hazing mean?
Oh, yeah. So have you seen the show Young Royals by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know in the first episode where the younger generation is that's a very, very extreme example of hazing, but hazing is like putting people through harmful or hurtful things in order to make them earn a place in the group. So the main character be really treated horribly, humiliated, having to do awful, disgusting things in order to be then brought into the in group. That's what hazing is.
Okay, I've seen that in movies, like in fraternity, like kind of initiatives, like something. No, the mentor doesn't do that. Like it's like we don't have hazing, we don't have bully of any kind of form. We just have that ignorant like mentor, and that's it. That's the maximum that you can do.
So maybe like if you got stuck with a mentor who like isn't that helpful or their notes are crap or something, like you would like
and it happens.
a bummer.
And it happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
because you're fucking 19 and you are expected to care for someone, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not your mother. So like it's right. So there will be people who is a really, really bad mentor.
Yeah.
And
like Ark's not a good mentor.
He's a shitty mentor, by the way. To be exact, you know, like Ark in Perfect Talent. Yeah, to look at his action.
Yeah.
He just want to get with Arm.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
Nothing.
I think,
because like because the line, the tree is like Ark and then Yipun, right? The girl.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
So Ark has supposed to take care of Yipun.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do shit.
No.
And instead he just skipped the line and, you know, doing that romantic agenda. So
Yeah.
this is the prime example of like ignorance mentor.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and Santa, right? That's true. Santa's mentor too is played by Guide, I think. I don't remember his name, but he's also terrible, just awful.
Yeah, I think it's still better than Ark because
yeah, he does show up a little bit.
He show up a bit, and he tells something. So it's like, okay,
right,
that's good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sodas, you guys. I'm sorry, so I can't speak to that. I don't tend to go back and watch older BLs from before I was a fan. So mentors are volunteers, but do you think it's a point of pride or excitement when you get to become a mentor?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are like in sophomore year.
Yeah.
The only thing that we are talking about is like, oh, who is going to be our mentee? Who is going to be my line? Is he gonna be a really good looking boy? Or he's gonna be a nasty ass shitty person? You know, we don't know. So it's kind of exciting.
That's fun because it seems actually quite comparable to the excitement that Arm has in Perfect 10-Liners. He's so excited. Is there a ceremony where like each person is read and you meet your mentee? Does that happen? Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk to us about the skits and activities that you do with mentorship trees and also the song?
The activity is like mostly like beside from the academic goody two stuff is drinking and
parties.
Hammering with parties and drinking and get drunk again and again and again. So and go to trips to the beach.
Right.
Yeah. Cliche, yeah.
What is the drinking age in Thailand legally?
20?
20. And
20.
So 20 is when you can buy alcohol?
Yes, legally can buy and drink alcohol.
That's very much the same in American culture in terms of activities. As someone who had a fairly standard college experience, except for I went to a very small college, not a large university, but you essentially get brought in and you're partying, right? And in America, the only people who can legally buy alcohol are way older than you because it's 21. So there's a lot of mentorship that happens.
You can tell from my face. Someone said like Earnie face then. So someone asked like what age is the age of going into the university? Here is 18.
Same as 18. For us, yeah.
Yeah, same for you, right? You know, to be fair, you know, the legal age is 20, but you know, freshmen going into and there's like a lot of boys going on. Of course, it's going to be a drinking.
Same situation. With our culture, right? It's pretty rare to find someone in university or college setting that isn't engaged in some sort of drinking. Yeah, and all the older folks are buying it for the younger folks. That's how it works. That's normal.
Yeah. That's a really cute thing that happening in the mentor and mentee kind of stuff. If you look into the Perfect 10-Liners, like we know that you know you're 18. Sometimes you never drink before, right? And then suddenly all of your friends like, oh, you drinking? Okay, I have to drink too, right? So and then you kind of social pressure yourself to drinking. I was one of them that, okay, but I was drinking before 18, so but someone is the first time, like, you know, drinking. Yeah. But this mentorship, it's really working in a way. It's really cute for me as well. Like, the mentor, even though he's 19, you don't drink. You have to take care of your first drink of your little ones. So-called 18-year-old boy. Mm-hmm. That's the practice of my university.
Oh, I love that. So, like, you're actually really looking out and protecting that person. You take
like
we have some. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have something that this is really like confidential. I'm gonna say we have something. It's called first drink,
Mm-hmm.
like first drink
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So it's like it's actually a party night,
Sure.
But the one that can drink is the freshman year
Uh-huh.
and the junior and the senior. The sophomore will be taking care of everyone who is drunk.
Okay,
So
so
that's
they
how it
so
goes.
so the line of like the generations of mentees and mentors is quite important, just like in
Yes,
perfect 10-liners. Like it's a
yes,
family.
yes, yes.
I
Yes,
have a
it's like the
mentor
family.
for a different reason, and that line is also important. Like my mentor's mentor, I know, and she knows my mentees. Like it's something that is like a family, right? I love that. Okay. That's like the 21st birthday here for a lot of people, where you have
Yes.
somebody taking care of you because you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
go
yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
bars and things like that when you're 21.
Yeah, but it's quite chaotic because can you imagine
Oh,
around like six like not six like 33 people getting drunk at the same time. It's very messy.
it is
So yeah.
very messy, especially if a good chunk of those it's their first time and they're making,
Yeah.
they don't really know how that's going to work for their bodies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Oh, like yeah, I forgot to answer like some question.
yeah,
Like someone said about the chicken song,
yeah,
the chicken bat song. The chicken bat song is like a really stupid song. Like not stupid. Like it's really
silly.
silly song that I think like it was it was coming from like a folk song. I think in like a
Mm.
Thai traditional song, and it goes like ไก่ย่างถูกเผาไก่ย่างถูกเผามันจะโดนไม้เสียบ the whole song is not like it has no meaning at all whatsoever like the okay I'll translate you line by line which
Okay,
is
okay,
so very
okay,
stupid ไก่ย่างถูกเผา is like chicken is being barbecue
okay.
chicken is being barbecue
Hmm.
ไก่ย่างถูกเผาไก่ย่างถูกเผามันจะโดนไม้เสียบ is being screwed like like
Oh, like a
skew
rotisserie.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's being rotate like skew มันจะโดนไม่เสียบมันจะโดนไม่เสียบเสียบตูดซ้าย skew the left butt เสียบตูดขวา skew the right butt
Hmm.
ร้อนจริงๆร้อนจริงๆร้อนจริง it's very hot it's very hot it's very hot and that's it that's the whole really
So it's a song about cooking a chicken rotisserie
yes
style.
yes
Oh man, that's so funny.
That's why the dance
Yeah,
has to
that's
be
for
like roasting chicken and like it's very hot it's very hot it's so silly it doesn't
is
have any
silly.
meaning
Now I'm
doesn't have
gonna think
any-
about it whenever I buy a whole roast chicken.
yeah it doesn't have any real meaning whatsoever so like
Is
it's
there
so
any
stupid.
are mentors and mentees gendered, or can you have a different gender mentor or mentee?
You can have different gender it's
Okay.
super random
Okay.
yeah
And there was a question too about whether or not romantic relationships develop out of those. I assume that they do sometimes because you get close with people.
it's pretty common
Yeah.
it's pretty common
Yeah, I would assume so. That makes sense. And it would get messy if things ended. No?
yes
Yeah.
it's understandable like yeah but sometimes it gets pretty messy when you
Yeah.
have like a full gathering of the
Yeah.
whole tree
Okay, let's see. Oh, can you I think one of the last things is the engineering jacket and the uniform change. Is that, the blue jacket that people get as a sophomore, right? Seems like a rite of passage. And there was also some pinning that happened in Perfect 10-liners. So I'm curious, is that for all faculties or is that an engineering thing? And then what is the significance around that?
can you wait me like 2 minutes
Of course.
I think I still have that in my closet
Oh, I would love to
I need to
see
go
it.
look for it
Of
just
course.
2 minutes I'll be back
Okay.
I'll be back
Everybody get up and take a stretch break. Oh, D, you're doing such a beautiful job. Thank you. Oh, and the gear. Ernie's the best. Hmm.
Hell yes. Okay.
He found it. He found it.
I found it.
Yay!
Here.
Oh my gosh, Ernie.
The exact same color
Yep.
that they wear. This is the one that I actually wore during my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that I can still find that in my closet.
I would assume that it's special. I still have some things that are. I have my Letterman jacket from when I was I don't know if you're familiar with those, but I have a Letterman jacket from when I was an athlete in high school. That has. There it is. Ah! I love it.
This is so nostalgic.
Yes.
I haven't worn it for like 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
I still have my volleyball uniforms tucked away somewhere. It is nostalgic. I can't get rid of them. I graduated from university 20 years ago.
I have to look
There
at
it
myself.
is. Ernie the
Here.
engineer.
Oh
so
shit!
cute.
Oh, this is like 10 years of memory
Yeah.
coming back.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, this is my logo of my university.
Uh-huh.
So it's long gone. Yeah, it's like it said College of Engineering
Uh-huh.
in my university name. Yeah.
So were
So I'm
you
gonna
did you
do-
buy that, or is it gifted to you from your mentor?
It's gifted to everybody from the faculty because
Oh.
it's required for you.
Uh-huh.
This is actually it's not a uniform. It's a uniform, but it actually acts as like a protection gear. Can you believe that? So we have labs.
Yeah.
So we have to do laboratories, and it's actually really thick.
Yeah.
So the objective of having this is to protect your inner
Oh, it's like your
white.
lab coat.
It's your lab coat, but it's
Oh.
too short. So it doesn't have any like practical function.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So does that mean that you're not really doing labs in your first year? That's more book study, and then you move into doing academics that include labs your second year?
Oh no, we do labs every year, every
Oh.
terms. We have like labs everywhere. So this it's been used like for 4 years
Uh-huh.
in university for sure.
Okay.
So it is So that's why people like in medical school, yes. So you would rarely see people wearing a student uniform
Uh-huh.
in engineering schools because this is looking way cooler.
Yeah.
Like that's like a fashion statement that is kind of be a norm that this is looking way like cooler. So yeah.
And that's why it's called a jacket, because it always is subtitled as a jacket. And I'm like, that's a shirt. I don't see it as a jacket, but it makes sense if it's thick, and I am on board now. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's translated that way. I love that.
Oh my god, I'm in engineering school today. It's so cute.
You told your story of your real life BL, and now you're in your jacket. It's
Yeah,
nostalgia
yeah.
time
Oh my
for you.
God.
Um,
Someone asked that, Ernie, I'd love to know more about the not breastless ceremony. Are you talking about the red ones? Oh yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. So there's this is a really really cute like ceremony that I love as well in the university. You know about the mentor mentee, right? And then after the what's the word? So there will be a ritual, like more like a kind of fraternity initiative, but it's really soft and it's really caring and positive. There's no hazing or bullying anything. It's just like usually it's the first like 4 months or 3 months of freshman year that the sophomore will be taking care of you heavily. Like the first 3 months is really important. And after the ceremony, after the that taking care period,
Mm-hmm.
it's has been done, there will be a really cute ceremony where that your mentor will give you a
Oh,
bracelet,
yeah.
yeah, made of a holy, like holy thread.
Yes.
Often it's a red one or white one,
Yep.
so to signify the bonding between you and your mentor. Yes.
That's it. That's exactly how I interpreted those scenes as they happen. And it also seems like the thread is passed around, so everybody's bracelet comes from the same holy thread. Is that right?
Yeah.
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 So there's
Right.
it there's also a beautiful symbolism of like the collective and everyone sharing like in that moment.
Yes. 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 It's really good, and I remember I kept that thread for
Mm-hmm.
like almost a year because like I hold on to it because like I think like, oh, this is really cute for me. Yeah.
I've participated in a ceremony similar to that with friends who are pregnant, where a blessing is, and it's not super common. It's part of a blessing ceremony that some pregnant people do in the States, where a thread is wrapped around everyone who's there to bless the mother, and then that
Oh.
is worn until the baby is born. Um,
Ooh.
and it's really lovely, like because it brings a community together to support someone. I love that. And I've worn it. I've always worn it until that baby came. It's really nice. I've done
Yeah,
that
yeah,
a few
it's
times.
really good. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Um, okay, can you tell us a bit about the gifting that happens between mentors? Or there's also people, we've seen buddies, which are different than mentors. In Perfect 10 Liners, there's like a visiting school and they have a buddy for the day. And it seems like in that arc of the story, it was all around a soccer game, football game. Um, so, what is the gifting culture in the university about?
Gifted culture is really different, like from university to university. Mine wouldn't have much of the gifting part. It really depends on the individual like mentor that you would love to give your children, you know. It's like it's not a requirement, it's not an event or a gifting kind of party. That's for me, I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe some university or some faculty will have a really strong like gifting policy as well.
Okay.
So like for me, I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And for the buddies or the secret Santa, right,
Yes.
that you're from your culture,
Yeah.
it is working for a different like special event, I would say. Like I mean, so this mentor mentee will be stick with you for your entire life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not just like just in your like a first 4 months or anything, but this secret Santa stuff will like it will come with like a sport day
Okay.
or a New Year's party or school visiting or something like that. So usually be like just a tailor for a very special event. So in Perfect Ten Liner, it's just like because they have like a school
Mm-hmm.
kind of sport unified. I don't know what that's happening. So they just play Secret Santa because it would be more fun to connect people from
Yeah.
across the schools. Yeah.
Okay, so we're having a lot of questions about snacks and food, and so I'm going to move us on to like kind of the more general topic that we talked about. Um, all of this stuff we see in BL that we want to know more about. So let's
Mm-hmm.
start with food because gifting of snacks is a huge flirt in BL. I love the way that it happened between God and Diao, right? It was a huge component of them. And I would also like someone to pursue me by giving me snacks. I'm just saying. I think I should tell my spouse. And so giving of snacks is something that we observe a lot. and also feeding each other as a flirt. Like it seems like that's a flirt or something that's considered intimate or close. And so I would love to hear about whether or not that's a BL thing or a Thai thing, both.
Um, because Thai food is good, right? And Thai snack it's beyond. So, it's really understandable that we treat one another with this such act because, like, someone say in the comment that sharing food is caring, and yes, it's very Asian thing to do.
Yeah.
And if you love someone, you will share food with them. I will treat anyone in my who is younger than me. I would treat them. No. If I love them, if I care for them,
Mm-hmm.
if you go out for dinner with me, I'll pay for you for sure because I love to treat you and I want you to eat good food. It doesn't have to be a romantic, relationship. It can be a platonic one,
Mm-hmm.
and I still treat you because you were so good to me. Um, and that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
right? So combining to mentor and mentee, yes, there will be like treating food and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that often used in a romantic way
Mm-hmm.
as well in real life.
Yeah.
If I want to hit on someone, yes, of course, like I'll treat you. And would you like to go eat that? And the shortest way for a broke college student is to buy snack, right? Because you cannot go to the fine dining places and
Yeah.
5-star hundreds and so you give a really delicious snack uh to people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of are you into me or you're hitting on me or something? So it's happening in real life.
Okay.
And someone said in my comment that Ernie doesn't like older people. Confirmed. No,
No, they just treat him. That's how it works,
yeah,
right?
I sometimes I treat older people as well.
Sure. But
I like to
that's
buy food. My treat is like I love to buy food. If you have dinner with me, there will be so many middle plates to
yes.
share.
Right.
Too many at the same time. So yeah, so I would love food with me is a special thing. So I can talk about that. And but flirty food, like if like in the BL scenes, like if I'm putting food in your mouth, someone's
Yeah.
putting food in your mouth. I think that's all in BL.
Uh-huh.
To be exact, that very exaggerate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people do that, but it's too anime, like it's too cartoonish for me. So I don't think that in those kind of scene in BL would happen.
Yeah, I've had a couple of videos where I've been talking about Thai culture and things that have made it to Thai TikTok. And one of them was about feeding each other, and a few Thai people or people with Thai family came in and they were like, you know, it might happen, but it's more just like, here, try this. Like, it's just a kind of the same way I might give my sister a bite of my food because I want her to try it. It's a sharing as opposed to a big flirt. So that was interesting to me. And the other one that has been really lovely, and it's a question that we have a lot, is about sniff kisses. And I have a video that's up to over 50,000 views, and it's 70% of the viewers are Thai, which has never happened to me. And so what's been really lovely is that tons of Thai people have come into my comments and been really kind because my son sniff kisses me every night. I taught him about sniff kisses. That's what I call them. Home? Is that what they're called? What are sniff kisses called?
หอมแก้ม หอมแก้ม
Okay.
หอมแก้ม yes.
And I also found out that they aren't unique to Thailand. There's been quite a few other Southeast Asian folks who have come in and said, we do sniff kisses too, and one Brazilian, which I had no idea of. So it's a cultural practice that I learned from BL and that I've adopted into my daily life. But I think people are really curious about the difference, if there is any, between a sniff kiss and a cheek kiss with one's lips, Because they're both happen in BL and people are curious about it.
You want to know the difference, or you want to know like the situation, or
So if I was going to kiss someone on the cheek in a totally platonic way, I would use my lips in my culture. But I wonder if that's common platonically, or if you're kissing someone's head or cheek, is it is it platonic or romantic or both? Or would a lip kiss be romantic? I think people that's kind of what they're curious about, if there is a difference between Thai practice.
if we're going to talk about this, I have to talk about the PDA first because this is the root
Yeah.
of like PDA is like the public display of affair, right? So, not affair, like affection. So here in Thailand, it's no for PDA. Like it's like because it's Asian country, so PDA it's taboo for most of everything. So those sniff kiss and cheek kiss is pretty reserved for a romantic kind of gesture. But as the society grows, I've seen more PDA, emerging, and because like Western culture has been here in Thailand as well, so PDA it's really common for like your youngsters and for young kids here, and I think like me and my friends just sniff kiss all the time. Like me and my friends just like and it's nothing for me because I'm modernized and have my head like in culture like from Western world as well. So I'm fine. I'm good with it. So but I think like the majority of Thai they still view like kissing on the cheek or maybe sniff kiss as like a solely like a romantic purpose. So that would not be viewed as like a platonic kind of action. Yes.
Unless it was coming from. I do have an echo. Can you turn down your volume a little? Will you still be able to hear Ernie?
Yes. Can
I
you
don't
hear me?
know if that will help. It helped, yeah.
Is it helping?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit. I think that it also seems to be different if it's coming from family, right? Because we see in BL mothers sniff kiss frequently, but we don't see them lip kiss.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Thank you. I love sniff kisses. They're fantastic. Is smell? I read somewhere on the internet in my poor research that smell or scent is important in Thai culture. And I meant to bring them downstairs, but I love Thai inhalers. I have one at
The green ones?
I have a green one and I have a black one that someone just sent me, but I really love the green ones. I've turned multiple of my friends onto them, who now use them. They're fantastic. And so I've read that smell is important in Thai culture, and I'm curious about that in general. And also, it seems like the use of the herbal inhalers is like very widespread. And why do Thai people use them? Is that a big question?
I'm gonna answer you with a story.
Okay.
So my British friend visiting me, and he saw me holding onto my inhalers
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
working and going, and every 5 minutes I was like, and that's it. And he was like, "What's in your hand?" I was like, it's in like herbal inhaler. It's
Yeah.
herbal inhaler in your
Yeah.
terms. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And what is that? And I was like, I don't know what's in here, but it smells good. Would you try that? And he's like, no. Like, it is a drug, right? It's a substance for sure. This is illegal. I was like, no. It's really good. It's really good for your body. And he asked me, what does it do? What's good? And I said like, so I when I inhale those herbal, it's really like fresh your nostril,
Mhm.
and it's minty, and it's very clear your mind and relieve stress, and it's really good, and it's very addictive. And he said that you're just describing a drug, like, a substance to me. I'm not gonna try that. So I was like, always a joke for me from the foreign friends, like, it's really addictive, which is it kind of is. And it's to answer your question, yes, it's really common.
Mhm.
And I once you get into sniffing those kind of stuff, you're not getting out for sure. I can guarantee you.
They're fantastic. For folks who aren't familiar, so it's a common practice in America, at least, when you were sick, to use something called Vicks Vapo Rub, which is like an ointment that you rub on your chest, and it has a lot of the similar smells that a Thai herbal inhaler has. So if you haven't, it is not like essential oil. If you haven't smelled a Thai herbal inhaler, it has like menthol, eucalyptus kind of intense smells that shoot right up your sinuses. And when you buy a green one, I'll try to make a video later to show you. It's actually a packet of herbs inside
Yeah.
the inhaler. So, and the ingredients are really clear. You can get them pretty easily online. And it lasts quite a long time. I do notice I just got a new one, and I'm glad because my one at work is starting to dry out. So they sort of like hit you with a like wakes you up a little bit because they're fantastic if you have a stuffy nose or a cold. It has the same function as but you don't have to put something gross on your chest. My kids will not get near it. It's way too intense for them. They're like, oh, you know.
It's a drug.
Yeah.
It's a substance.
No, it's not at all. It is like using something to energize you. Like I do think it's not like essential oils, but I do think that it is used in a similar way. So where people use a diffuser to put good smelling, like herbal smells into the air, but they are very specific in the scent, and it's quite energizing or invigorating, I would say. A lot of people like them here that learned about BL. Yeah.
So, okay, Em said that I would love to know about head touching. It seems taboo in Thailand. Head touching. It's one of your questions as well. Mm-hmm. Taboo. As I said, that people view this area of your head, like especially in religious based, like family, your head is your sacred divine intervention, it's like, and your feet is like the dirtiest part of your body. So it's like if someone is touching your head like this, or like this, or patting your head, it's like your divine power has been tainted, I don't know, like something along those lines. So but for me personally, I don't mind when people touching my head. I will mind if it's somebody that I don't know. Like someone that I don't know, or someone that is really young. Not toddler young, not baby young, but so I'm 32. If someone who is like 20 just kind of scratching my head in not in a romantic way, or like, I would be curious, like, why are they doing that? Because like a social status, me, and how are we knowing each other? But for me and my friends, my family, my peers, and everyone, it's fine touching my head. But someone is really being careful of that as well. So it really depends on the person, that how strong they're going to pay attention to this kind of divine secret. And it goes with like the feet thing as well. you wouldn't put your feet onto someone's head because like that's the complete opposite, you know. So that's kind of a rude thing to do. So like if you're coming from a really strict like families, if you put your feet on your table, that considered as a rude thing to do as well. If you put your feet up high, that considered as a rude thing as well. So I actually came from that kind of family that, you know, I cannot put my feet like up high or on table. I will be scolded that I do that, you know, something like that. So when I watch like American movies or Western movies, and I see you guys, not you guys, I'm not
Oh, me. It's
stereotyping.
definitely. Yeah.
I'm gonna
It is.
stereotype. You guys like wear your shoes into your house and
Yeah.
sleep like on the bed or on your sofa. I freaked out because like, wait, how? Are you not getting dirt all over your place? And that's how your face is gonna go in your bed. Like it's more of a hygiene
Yeah.
perspective for me. It's not like a high pace or low pace or divine intervention or something like that. It's like you wear shoe in your house, and that's kind of amazing and gross for me in the same way.
I think a lot of things we do are gross. As someone who's wearing shoes right now, the only sorry, Ernie. It is really different, and there's no way to predict where I live what you are going to be expected to do when you go into someone's home. Like usually when you ask, you'll have to observe to see if there are shoes by the door. If then you would take them off. Or people will say, please take your shoes off, or you ask, but it isn't commonly expected. I have horribly messed up feet, and so sometimes I think about traveling in Thailand, how difficult that would be for me, because it hurts my feet so badly to be barefoot, like so badly. It would be difficult. That's why I wear shoes. It's like, oh. So that would be something I would have to work on before I traveled really anywhere in Asia.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm
But still
gross,
you
and
can wear.
I'm fully gonna own that.
Yeah.
Fine.
So people are screaming in the comment section that we also have no shoe policy as well as
Yes.
the as the American. So you know, it's like in media, like I've seen that for 100 times that in you know in the teen movies that you just wear shoe inside, and it's like okay,
Yeah.
it's
And also, even if it's a no shoe house, putting your feet on the coffee table, super common. Like, you know, and so there might be a take your shoes off expectation, but there is much less of a relationship between being gross or dirty, right? So it's like putting your feet on it would be very rude to do it on a surface like that. I'm sitting at a dining room table right now. That would be very rude, but not on a coffee table by the couch.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about wiping people down when they're sick?
Magic wipe. Okay, sure. It's actually true. Actually, like, I was in a hospital one time because I have a really like a flu, like a really bad flu. So the nurse here in Thailand actually wiped me, like with like that with towel and you know, do those kind of stuff that you have seen in BLs, which in real life is not romantic and it's painful. It's because I'm burning up because of the fever and it's not comfortable. And so like, I don't want to do this. I just want to sleep. I want to eat myself. Yeah. And so it's really common practice. And my mom wiped me when I'm kid. So it's like, it's really common. So you would see that in BL series that, you know, the small one just wiping down the big ones because they're caring, you know. And it gets like very kind of hard, like it's BL stuff.
Yeah.
But the magic rain that makes it happen, no,
So are
that
Thai
it's
people afraid of getting sick if they're in the rain?
yeah, it actually
Okay.
is
Yeah.
because how the media portrays them,
Yeah.
and how our parents just always tell us not to go play in the rain,
Mm.
and that's my parents too. Like, do not go into the rain; you will get sick. That's a common phrase in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we growing up believing that if we play like on the rain, we will get sick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still around. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. It's a common belief, although it's not one that I personally hold. In the region I'm in the United States, it's rainy, and there's a joke that people here don't own umbrellas. We just like don't bother because it's rainy all the time. We're like whatever, and people are kind of horrified when they move here how much we sort of don't care about getting a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I think like I think the reason that these magic rains happen, I'm going to defend my people in my Thailand belief for a
Please.
bit, because like people in this comment screaming that they want to have magic rain as well. Otherwise, like, in the UK, people would be sick every time. Because like I was thinking the same thing
Yeah.
while doing this kind of in the script, because like, what if I'm going out for the rain right now? How is it different from taking a shower, right? Because it's the same thing, right? It's like your body just get wet. But I can see how Thai is crucial with this situation, because like when you go out for the rain and it's wet and you get wet and then you have fun on the rain, maybe like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, half an hour, and maybe it stopped raining, but the weather here in Thailand is crucial because it's very, very hot. And the humidity and everything just combines into if you go out for the rain, it's cool and it's really wintry for you. But if you come inside and you didn't dry yourself and you leave it hanging for like 5 minutes, the heat of the surrounding will, completely change your like thermodynamic for sure, not thermodynamic, like the temperature for sure inside your body. So I think that kind of a vast, like the fast changing, the rapid change of the temperature from place to place, location to location, it's affecting your body, and that make you sick. I don't know. That's my speculation.
I think that's pretty common, and I do think that it's different than taking a shower because you're clothed and you stay damp.
Yes.
Right. So if you're out and about, you're going to stay damp, and if you go from hot rain into a cold, air-conditioned building, then you'll get chilled. So yeah, I mean, it's not a pleasant experience, right? But we wear raincoats, but it's hard to wear a raincoat when it's freaking hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because hot rain is a very strange experience for me, and not one I've had very frequently. Because it's rainy where I live when it's cold or cool.
Okay.
Like the weather where I live is a lot like the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. for Ernie. Ernie, how you doing? We're kind of almost done.
Yeah, we're kind of almost done.
Let's see. There were some questions. Is there any like last thing you would like to talk about? Oh, okay. I sent you this. People were curious about. I'm curious about a couple things. People were curious about the difference in pronouns. So pom is used, and then people often use their own names instead of a pronoun, which is never done when speaking English. So and there's another pronoun I can't remember that's referring to I, basically. I'm curious about, I would assume that has to do with relationship and respect when you use the different ones, but I'm curious because that might help us understand a little bit relationship dynamics when we watch BL.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the pronoun things. So I need to tackle this. It's really complicated, but I'm gonna simplify it for you. Okay. So it's like pom, Pom is for boys. Pom is for male.
Okay.
Pom is for male. So when I refer me as pom, so I will use in that like a really polite and very formal situation. So if I meet someone that like new person or my partners or someone that I have to pay respect or just someone new or maybe a market vendors or street vendors that I want to be polite with. So I will use pom. So pom is very generic, like very, fine for every situation. So for female part, it's more kind of complicated. So the formal word that has equivalent with pom is ดิฉัน so ดิฉัน not just ฉันนะ is ดิฉัน so it's like ดิฉันอย่างนั้นดิฉันอย่างนี้ so that would be a formal and we have the word ฉัน as well so ฉัน it's like we can use both gender I can use the word ฉัน to refer to me as well but it's for a more casual way for men to use ฉัน for women as well and there is หนู หนู is for women to refer to themselves to look younger and to look kind of more like to look younger, to appear younger and be respectful, because like seniority here in Thai society is really, a really important things. So you would assume that people you're talking with, you have to kind of assume that maybe they're older than you because you want to pay respect, because the more older than you, the more respect you will get in Thai society. So that's how it works. So if you meet random people, your brain would assume that maybe they're older than you. So you would use the word P, right? You're familiar with P. So you would call random people like P, even though they're not your siblings.
Yeah.
So if I go to street vendors and he or she appears to be older than me, I would use pronoun like P and P ครับ P. And if I happen to know their names, that would as follows. So P Laura. So yeah, that's it, right?
Yep.
And if someone is younger, you would call them น้อง right? So this is often seen in BL. So น้อง is to call someone who's younger. And it's complicated because if you call someone P, it's considered respect and thoughtful. But when you call someone น้อง you need to think carefully. Because like if you call random people น้อง and they can interpret that as like a sarcasm and kind of a belittle kind of tone, because like again in Thai society, like hierarchy is really important. P and น้อง and the age gap is really important. So if I call someone that is really crucial to my work line and has like a position and quite the same age as me, and I call them น้อง I will go as that as like I want to put them down.
I see.
You are beneath me because you are น้อง น้อง has to listen to P.
Yeah.
And that's the gist of it, right? So you have to be really careful with the น้อง word. But for foreigner, for ฝรั่ง, for anyone who doesn't know Thai, it's fine. You don't have to worry about that because we understand how complicated and how nuanced differences it can sound. So don't worry about like you want to use P and น้อง. It's very cute. I encourage you guys to use P and น้อง if you are, whatever who you are. But for Thai people, for me to call someone น้อง is like to put them down. That's like kind of one factor into that. But if I'm close to someone and they are actually younger than me, I would call them Nong for sure. Like, out of my love and tenderness. So, hey, Nong, yeah, something like that. So that's P and Nong, right? So, and that's Pom and Chan for a formal word. Lina said that, what about I? Have you heard about the word I before? Like I. Okay.
I mean, maybe, but I can't remember
So
contextually.
this is really hard to explain, like, but I would love to explain to you.
Okay.
I is like, it's a formal, no, it's a casual word.
Okay.
It's more towards like rudeness, but it's not
I.
rude.
Yes. Okay.
I.
Yeah, okay.
So for example, like Force book.
Yes.
So book call Force like I Force. So Force call book I book. So I call my best friend I David. Something like that. So
Yeah.
I is to
Yes.
emphasize your closeness to them and to call them in a rude way. So that's just a bit. Often, like, if you have your friend's name, David, and you want to call them I, so it's the equivalent of like, you, that damn David, like something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Or like that fucking David or something like that. So it's that level.
Yes.
So I is like, yeah. So
I did think about that because I think it was there. It's not uncommon in BL for I to be used, and then someone to like be like, "Whoa, why are you?" Like it's not a, or you only see it happening among characters that are very intentionally being shown to be a close knit friend group, and they use I, and they're generally all the same age. I think when that's done, and it was done very consistently in the show Love by Chance, the first one, which is a hugely popular show. So I think probably a lot of people learn about it from that. I did know what it meant. I just wasn't picking up what you were talking about. Sorry, Earnie. And my understanding is that comes from Thai Chinese culture.
Yes. Here's from Thai Chinese culture. Here is for a younger boy to call a younger brother, an older brother.
Right.
So here.
Right. Yeah.
And people in the chat say like, is kun a general respectful term? Yes, kun.
Kun is like Mr. or Mrs.
It's very formal, respectful term. You can call someone kun every time. Like kun Laura, kun Earnie is very respectful. So J, right? J is for sister. Okay, I'm saying, J is for it's the equivalent of here, but it's for the girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm curious too, because we see often in BL people be called aunt. Lum is uncle, something like Lum, and I don't remember what
Lung,
he is.
uncle Lung.
What would be like an approximate age gap that you'd be like? How old are people when they graduate from P to auntie and uncle?
It's the reason that I laugh because there's actually this is no solid answer for you here. You just have to trust your gut that it's gonna work. Sometimes I would call people who definitely is uncle Lung for sure. He looks really Lung. He looks really uncle. He looks old. I still call them P. Out of respect.
I would imagine that for women that might be important.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you call someone, so the word for auntie is pa.
Ernie froze.
It is so rude if you go. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, it is so rude if you go and call random female person pa, because it's just like, oh, you're old hack or something like that. In that sense, yes. So if you want to be safe, just call everyone P and that's it.
Okay.
That's your safe net.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have to wrap up, Ernie, because I have to go take my son to get his haircut like Jai. That's his.
Okay. Oh,
So we already sent pictures of Jai to my hairdresser. It's happening. And it was, thank you so much. One thing that I would love to talk to you about that you and I have talked about perhaps in the future is like the culture of masculinity and a little bit more about queerness and queer representation in BL. If you would like to talk about that, we can get together. Please just like light a candle or send us good vibes in the United States that we get to keep TikTok because we're not sure what's going to happen. But thank you so much for the support, everyone, in the comments, and to Dee for helping moderate. We got to so much of what we wanted to get to. Earnie, please get some sleep.
Sure. I will.
Thank you.
I'll admit to you that I have a full day because I have to wake up at 6:30 today because the morning ceremony is really like the blessing ceremony is happening in the morning. So but it's good because I have a day off tomorrow.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't do this long.
Okay.
Because,
well, thank you. Thank you then, Earnie, for coming.
Yeah. So I have a day off tomorrow. I didn't have to do anything tomorrow.
Good.
I'm gonna wake up at afternoon.
Good.
For sure.
Good.
And that would be it for me for tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Good night, Earnie, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone who attended. If I missed something, if I missed any chance to to answer of any Thai aspect questions, like I'm sorry, I think because like I would say that I really enjoyed talking to you, Laura, and it's been a bless. And it's thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for inviting me to do this kind of stuff, because like I know the difficulties for these cultural differences.
Yeah.
Right? Because like if I'm not here explaining things to you guys, there's like how many amounts of Google search that you have to do to find the exact thing that you wanted to know, because it's not a mathematic that you can just type the formula and that's it, you get answer.
Right.
And these has to go through like experience and cultural aspect and explanation and everything. So I think like I'm super glad to be able to do this with you, and thank you for all the questions coming in.
Yes.
And I hope we can do more of this.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. And since Knockout, I'm gonna PR myself right now. Since Knockout is happening in May 2025, May this year.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of Thai cultural aspects in Knockout.
Yeah, I would love. We didn't even get to boxing, which is a huge thing. And I will add, Earnie, we're putting out our podcast episode, Chaos and Community, this weekend. So Earnie came. We talked for, I don't know, close to an hour and a half with Earnie, all about his experiences as a producer. So make sure to check that out. And maybe we can swing back to it. I'm not going anywhere even if we lose TikTok. We're gonna do some fun things.
Okay.
Okay.
Before I go, I wanna gush out something like just real quick about you. So when I attended the blessing ceremony this morning, and I attend as like a WeTV producer, right? So there's a lot of cast here, and Gunnar and I was really like nervous because this is like the first time that it's gonna be like a huge event for them, and there's so many, and there's a lot of press, and there's a lot of like fan clubs that has been like all the fans has been there because it's open ceremony, anyone can join, and and those, and I was rooting for them because this is the first time of them as a BL couple to do press together. And then I was busy I was busy talking to people. Yeah. And I was talking to to the staff, and then my PR team just rushed into me and showed me a video that she took, and they said, Earnie, watch this. And she showed me a video of like Gunnar and Nice holding hands like this, answering press. And I turned to my PR team like, did you plan this? Is it natural? Is it they're doing this on their own? And my PR team was like, they're doing this shit on their own. I didn't tell them to do anything. It was like, huh? Oh, really? In front of the whole thing, like, this is whole hands, and gliding through all the questions and everything together, and that's beautiful.
That's
Not like
so
okay, like put aside the shipping.
Oh, of course.
Put away the if you put away that shipping kind of sense. A male, like two boys holding hands because they want to be confident answering press together is really, really cute from my perspective. For me,
it's the cutest thing. And I think from a ship, even to pull it into shipping, Earnie, we don't actually have to make any more meaning of it, aside from two men who are nervous to go into this adventure together, and they're already close enough and care enough to rely on one another for support. And as a fan, just that observation makes me excited to watch the show, because it shows a level of just care and commitment to the art that they're doing together. And it's it's so sweet. I've been in situations where I've held hands with my friends out of nervousness or love or support. And I know how it impacts me and what it means. And so it's very nice to see two young men doing that too, and not being afraid. It's fun to ship, obviously, but we don't have to do that to just see that moment and kind of have our hearts melt,
Yeah. But if you put the shipping filter on,
oh yeah, that's gonna work in their favor.
It's super amazing. I was like, are they for real? I was kicking my face
And you guys should definitely listen to the podcast, because Earnie tells some pretty great stories about filming the pilot with these two.
Yeah.
So, just to plug my podcast, it's a good time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for knockout. Blessings, Earnie.
Thank you, Earnie. I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you everyone's coming here. I'm going to bed. I'm saying I'm going to bed, but you know me, I'm not sleeping until 3 or 4 a.m. for sure. So I'm still up for sure.
We'll sleep in then tomorrow, Earnie. Good night.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great having you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.